Running sounds like a simple sport, and it is. There are, however, a few things that can help you enjoy it and progress. So I'm going to be addressing the aspects that can affect your experience, and with this knowledge, you'll then be able to get far more out of your next run. Most of us know how to run, yet most of us have probably never been taught how to go about it. If you're new to any sport, it can be quite challenging and a little bit daunting. How do you approach it? What do you wear? How long do you do it for? Unless you have a beginner run group near you or a friend who's happy to guide you, it's hard to know, and that's what I'm here for today. Let's start with pre-run and look at clothing. When you run, your heart rate is going to increase, your metabolic rate rises, and as a result, your body is going to be generating more heat. So with that in mind, if you don't want to be wearing the same amount of clothes as you would if you were heading out for a walk, and if you are someone who likes to start warm, then layers are your friend. Wear something that you can take off as you get warmer. A long sleeve t-shirt, for example, is perfect because you can just tie that around your waist. And I know not all of you live in a cold climate, so if you are running somewhere hot, a cap is a good idea for protecting your face and some lightweight clothing. And depending on how far you're running, you might want to consider taking water with you. But being the wrong temperature or wearing the wrong clothing is just going to make your run much harder and less enjoyable. So it might take a little bit of experimentation to work out the right clothing for you, but once you know that, it is worth investing in a couple of key pieces. When you run can have a significant impact on your running experience. So think about why you run. Look at your daily commitments, think about the daylight hours or maybe where there are street lamps, and even the temperature and what will suit you better. There is no right or wrong time of day to go running. You just need to think about your commitments, and obviously we're all different and we also live in different environments. So if you're someone who likes to run to clear your head, then you maybe want to use it to decompress at the end of the day. Or it's maybe a technique to help you wake up. Well, obviously then you'd want to have it before work. It is totally personal, but having a why will help you to motivate yourself. Now, I'm not here to teach you how to run, but there are certain elements of your running gait that you can focus on to help improve your running. Think about the speed of your legs. How often do your feet strike the ground? A common beginner mistake is having a low cadence, taking a long time to complete each stride. So think about trying to increase that slightly. If you are someone who listens to music, then having something with a faster beat can actually help with this. Breathing is another area to be aware of. It sounds silly, but you might not actually be doing it properly and therefore not making the most of your full lung capacity. And when we find something difficult, it's quite common to tense up. And with that, your shoulders will naturally become tense and still. And as a result, your ribs aren't going to be able to move as much, which will limit the amount of air your lungs can take in. So think about trying to drop your shoulders slightly and relax them. Try doing just a few strides when you shake out your arms by your side, and then you just bring them back naturally to your waist height. And if you can avoid carrying anything in your hands, then that will also just help you to relax your arms and shoulders. Working out what to eat and when to eat around running is essential. If I compare it to walking again, then you think you can have a large meal and you can probably still go out for a walk. If you try and do that with a run, you're likely to either get a stitch or feel sick, and quite often both. When you do any form of high intensity exercise, your body's naturally going to direct all the blood to, or most of the blood to, your main muscles and away from your digestive system, meaning that anything that's in your stomach is just going to carry on sitting there. So ideally, you want to have digested it beforehand. And then if you're coming into running at this level, you're not really going to have to change your diet because you're naturally going to have enough energy stored in your body. It's more a matter of thinking about the timing. So making sure that you're not too full, but equally you're not too hungry when you head out for your run. There is one final aspect of running that is essential: how to find that incentive and that motivation. And it comes to having a goal for you, and it's entirely personal. Just needs to be something that gets you excited, whether that's for your health, maybe it's meditation, or it could even be fitness that you're trying to gain for another sport. But it needs to be really important to you, so it's going to keep you getting out the door. And maybe share it with friends and family, as they will help to keep you incentivized for that. And maybe find a group. Committing to running with somebody else or with a run group will seriously help. So if you don't have anyone you already know of, maybe check out Facebook or something similar to find some other groups. A common error that we're all guilty of is aiming too big or missing a day and then promising ourselves we'll double up the next day, and then it just escalates and becomes too big and we end up not going running at all. And you need to remember that little and often is far better. Even just doing a very small run is going to be much better than doing nothing. So give yourself praise and be kind to yourself. If you do just manage to lace up your trainers and head out of the door, however short it is, it doesn't matter, because you'll feel that satisfaction and that motivation will carry over to the next day and you'll be off and running in no time. I expect you can tell, but I personally love running, and I just want you guys to be able to enjoy it too. So if you haven't done so already, just making a few of those changes I've mentioned can make a huge difference. And after all, life is too short not to be enjoying ourselves. Talking of enjoyment, if you've enjoyed this video, please do give us a like. You can follow us on our social media channels, and you can also subscribe here on our YouTube channel.